Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Quinn, and as always in my videos, I'm going to be giving you guys my advice and my take on all real estate and personal finance topics. In my past videos, I've spent most of my time talking to you about money and saving advice, but in this video, I want to get more into real estate, and specifically today, I'll be talking about red flags that renters should look out for when looking at properties. The longer I pursue my real estate license, the more I learn about different scenarios when renting or purchasing a home. And there are definitely things that I can make you aware of when you're renting a property so that you can have the best rental experience possible. Depending on the type of landlord you have, it can make or break your experience. I know people who will live super far from work and travel the distance every day just because they love their landlord and think that's more important than moving closer to work. But on the other hand, I've also known people that love their apartment so much and it's perfect for them in the perfect location, but they can't stand their landlord, so they'll do anything to move as far away from them as possible. So you never really know what you're gonna get. But hopefully some of the red flags that I bring up in here will give you a clue on what to look out for when you're going to rent a property. That way you can assess the situation before you spend the money and move in.
The heck is he so happy about? This thing was a disaster.
Oh no, Will, this place looks
It's like hell?
well, hell looks a lot better than this, I hope. Yeah, but don't worry about it. I mean, since all the repairmen didn't show up, they gave me a week's extension. So come on, let's go.
Now before we move on, don't forget to go hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. Now the first red flag we're going to look at is if the property listing doesn't have many or any pictures. This is the first and easiest clue into whether this apartment or home is worth your time. In the age of having phones that take incredibly high quality photos, it takes one click of a button for any landlord or property manager to take pictures for a property listing. This makes it easy for anyone, even the smallest or least tech-savvy landlord, so they can upload multiple pictures to the rental listing. No reasonable landlord would expect good tenants to be interested in a property that doesn't show any pictures. As a prospective renter, you want to make sure that you've seen multiple pictures of all the main areas of the home. This includes at least one picture of the kitchen and main living areas, pictures of all the bathrooms and bedrooms, and even a picture of the outdoor space if the property has one. This makes it easier to weed out the places that don't meet your needs before you schedule a viewing for the home in person. So if they don't show many pictures of the property, this is definitely a red flag that maybe this property isn't in good enough condition for you, and you should probably just move on and keep looking for other properties. Now the second red flag is if the landlord doesn't offer any scheduled viewings. Now granted, during COVID-19, public house showings have been on and off depending on the state of each place. But even in all the chaos, people can still do private showings with the listing agent or their own, and even the landlord. So when you're interested in a property, you should contact the landlord or the listing agent to ask any additional questions you may have or to schedule a viewing. But if the landlord tries to get you to sign for the property or wire a deposit for it without ever seeing it in person, this is a huge red flag that you should avoid at all costs. Signing a lease is a financial agreement that you should not take lightly. And the best landlords don't want tenants that feel like they've been tricked or settling for something they don't want. A sign of a good landlord is one that is eager to do showings for you so that they can rent it out as quickly as possible. Now for number 3, if the landlord is rushing you through a showing, this is a sign of a red flag. Once you've scheduled a viewing for the property, the landlord should give you enough time to go through in detail, without either rushing you or getting you to do a speed walk in and out of the door. I'm not saying that you have to look at every finite detail all the way down to the baseboards, but you'll still probably want to have a very thorough look around. You want to make sure that all the doors open and close properly, making sure all the cupboards and drawers do the same, making sure the water pressure is adequate from all the taps and showers in the home, making sure none of the windows stick when you're trying to open them, and so on. Everyone has things they like to inspect when they're viewing a property. And after all, you are signing the contract for your living space, and doing all these things will give you a better idea of how well the landlord is taking care of this property. It's true that a landlord or property manager that is rushing you through a property could just have more prospective tenants they need to get to, but they may also be hoping that you miss potential concerns about the property or are simply just hiding something from you in the first place. Just make sure that you have enough time to get a feel for the space and that the person showing you the property can answer any questions you may have. Now for number 4, if the grounds or common areas are a mess, this gives you an idea of how well the property is taken care of. This is definitely something you should be on alert for when you're looking at rental properties. It can be easy to disguise the quality of an average apartment if you're shown the model unit in the complex, but it's a lot harder to hide the quality of the grounds or common areas on short notice. Before or after you look at the inside of the place, you want to make sure you're looking at the outer qualities. Do all the machines in the laundry room work? Are the fence or the playground in good condition? Is there garbage piling up anywhere? These are the kinds of things you want to look out for when you're looking at the property as a whole. Now the 5th red flag is if the landlord or property manager is slow to respond and can't answer your questions. The last thing you want when you're renting is to be unable to get a hold of your landlord or the property manager in a timely manner. Your rental search is the perfect time to get a sense of how responsive your landlord is. Do they answer the phone during business hours? Do they call you back right away or within the next day? And how quickly do they respond to your emails? An experienced landlord or property manager should be able to answer typical renters' questions promptly. They should know which utility companies to get in contact with to set up your electricity and gas, how much those utilities cost every month, what school district the property is in, and so on. They should also be able to help you with what to do and who to call in emergencies. For example, if you're having a water leak or an AC problem. You want to rent from someone that is knowledgeable about the property and organized to minimize frustrations on both sides. Now, number 6, and arguably the most important, is if the landlord does not require a lease. If you take nothing else from this video, do not ever, under any circumstances, acquire a property without signing a lease agreement. The lease is what provides you with legal protection if you have a scrupulous landlord. Without a signed and dated lease, you're vulnerable to things like getting kicked out of your apartment on short-term notice. A good landlord should sign a lease so that you both have solid boundaries for this financial relationship. You want to know exactly how much you'll be paying for rent, how long you'll have possession of the property for, how much notice you'll have to give if you want to leave at the end of the term, and what your responsibilities are to each other. Hopefully these different red flags that I've brought up help you to better understand what to look out for when you're renting a property so that you can avoid some sticky situations. I want to make sure that you guys are as knowledgeable as possible when you're entering these financial decisions so that you have complete control over all of your lease and rental decisions. Thank you guys for watching this video, and before you leave, don't forget to go hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more real estate and personal finance topics. I love talking to you guys about this stuff, so I will see you again next week. Enjoy.